take into account the most searched term on Pornhub for the past 2 years, bi men and women alike was lesbian.
I prefer curvy amateur redheads in straight porn, usually. But to each their own.
You gotta be thinking, damn, that's a lot of lesbians and lesbian allies.
Well, I don't got to be thinking anything. But no, that's not the first thing that comes to mind. The first thing that comes to mind is 2 or more women fucking each other. But maybe I'm just strange.
Wrong.
Wrong? Oh, I would be wrong if I were thinking that the popularity of lesbian porn was reflective of the number of cheerleaders for lesbians as a demographic and or lifestyle and or orientation. Well, I wasn't thinking that. You are projecting that. So I guess you're wrong on both counts.
Lesbian porn is not for lesbians.
Lesbian porn is a category of porn. It's not a medical prescription. It's not porn that's been pH balanced for a woman. It's a descriptor of what you can expect to see, like big black cocks, or public sex, or curvy redheads. You're already off the ranch in your argument, and we're not even a minute in.
More often than not, lesbian porn is created by men for men and involves 2 very straight chicks pretending to be into boobs.
More often than not. So, at least 51% of the time? Or more? Are you going to show any stats? Or can I assume the bare minimum and say, hey, sounds like statistical equality? And there are plenty of actresses that exclusively do lesbian porn. I should know. I've checked.
Lesbian trade secret? Lesbian porn is not 2 straight femmed out chicks with long acrylic nails.
It's fantasy.
This point about acrylic nails may seem like a tangent, but the length of a woman's nails can literally be a factor you use to determine if a woman's queer. Because, ouch.
It's fantasy.
1-inch diamante nails are a cogent reminder that lesbian porn is performance created by men to fulfill a male fantasy.
Yay! She got it! End of video. What? Oh no. No!
And when you consider that over half of young men and around a third of young women were exposed to porn before the age of 12, it's clear that porn has become a key form of sex ed.
And this is different from the days of finding dad's girly magazines under the bed. How? Boys and girls are curious creatures, and especially these days with the ease of access to porn, it's just a fact of life. Deal with it.
So spreading a representation of lesbianism created for the male gaze not only misinforms, but also cheapens it by reducing it to a male-driven fetish, rather than a powerful expression of female sexuality, one free from men.
Sexuality free from men is important to you, is it? And, by the way, a heterosexual woman can also powerfully express her female sexuality. Being a lesbian has no monopoly on that. It is an individual experience and expression, regardless of which side of the question you fall on. Unless you mean to say that all lesbians are the same? And again, it is fantasy. If any man or woman watching highly produced porn thinks that it is an accurate reflection of reality, the fault is not with the porn, but the viewer's sanity.
And speaking personally...
So, everything you said before this was you speaking clinically? Claims and accusations absent any evidence. I can't wait to see what you have to say when you're speaking from your heart.
This misrepresentation sucks. I'm obviously into Netflix and chillin' with a hot lady as much as the next guy.
Obviously, huh? Well, here's virtue points to me for not having assumed your sexuality up to this point.
But not when she doesn't know that lesbian sex is creative and fluid and very often demands an expression of sexual predilections and desires that straight sex does not.
Straight sex is not creative. Straight sex is not fluid. Says who? You? Straight sex does not involve the same predilections and desires that lesbian sex does. Well, thanks for that revelation. Homosexuality and heterosexuality are two different things. Bravo.
Almost by definition, lesbian sex doesn't allow you to be lazy or conventional.
Have you ever tried straight BDSM sex? There's not much room for lazy or conventional there. You almost sound as though you're elevating the experience of lesbian sex above that of straight sex. Are you a heterophobe?
It's also the only kind of sex that demands female fulfillment. Another thing very often overlooked in porn and society.
Female fulfillment is overlooked in porn. Yes, every male porn actor looks exactly like Ron Jeremy, and women hate looking at other sexy women. That's why glamour magazines never sell, and models and movie stars are never idolized or emulated. As effectively half of the human population, women's needs and gratification are not catered to at all in a free market society. Man, you hit the nail on the head.
And it's important to be creating realistic depictions of women having sex with each other, because failing to do so continues the cycle of viewing lesbianism through an often misogynistic and male lens.
Then go produce your own amateur lesbian porn. Film yourself and your partner and put it out there with the rest of the couples on Pornhub. Heck, why not start a whole company of nothing but real lesbians holding GoPros? What's stopping you? Oh, are you expecting other people to cater to your demands? Well, golly, I'm sure they'll get right on that.
Right now, the status quo undermines my own identity, along with an entire subset of the population.
I look nothing like, and will probably never look like 90% of the male porn actors in the industry. My identity is not threatened by this, because my sense of my own sexuality is not so thin as to be threatened by produced fantasy.
When I'm told by a guy at a bar that I haven't had sex with the right dude or I haven't had the right D, when I'm harassed by men on the street because I'm kissing my girlfriend goodbye, when I'm told that lesbian sex isn't real sex, it's degrading. And it immediately relegates lesbians and queer women to second-class citizenship.
People can be jerks. It's true. But last I knew, being made fun of or ridiculed did not infringe upon your basic rights as a citizen in this country. Because, if so, I would have been deported 24 hours after getting my first pair of glasses when I was 6. Kids can be very, very cruel.
So let's be better about what lesbian sex is. Awesome. And not for dudes.
Well, thanks for that educational note on what defines lesbian sex, as well as once more giving us an implicit look at your own misandry. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go watch that edition of We Live Together, where the bride-to-be and her bridesmaids all fuck each other on a couch, because it's hot. As always, thank you for watching.